So, gonna make a video about creating a SSH key. Open up Windows Terminal, type in tmux real fast. This window will lose focus. There it went. Click in here again. I'm gonna cd to.ssh. And since OBS lets me pause videos while I'm recording, pause the recording and then start it back up, I think I'll try to make some more videos of other stuff. In the past, I just throw the errors in there and just live and learn. But if I'm updating the ports or updating FreeBSD or something to a major version, it could take overnight. So, and I'm just too lazy to edit stuff for the most part. So we'll see how this goes. -A, I'm gonna put 100 here. That basically makes it harder to brute force. I want to say the default value is 16, but it could have been changed. These things update all the time, these commands. And I'm going to put ed25519 as the type of key file. You can choose, there's several. You can, I think RSA and this one are the most popular these days. -C is a comment. The name of that server is BSDbox, FreeBSD server. Then the key file I'm going to use, .ssh and ribbit key, I'll call it. You might want to be more cryptic, maybe not even put a comment in there, depending on what your situation is, but this is just a server on my local LAN. That's good for me. This passphrase is not a password for the server, it's just a passphrase to be able to use this key. So I'll put one in here. And then if I list this, then we have the ribbit key, which is a private, and then ribbit key pub, which is a public key. And then you could SFTP these over. There is a command, but just keep in mind if you're using SFTP on FreeBSD, on Linux, you could use -P, whatever port you want to use, right? On FreeBSD, you can do that with SSH, but not SFTP, at least in the past. So you want to say port like this, equal 10.0.0.3.4, and then put your host or IP address or whatever. So just keep that in mind. In Linux, you just put whatever port you want like this, where unless it's been updated, you have to use the -O is a SSH option, and one of the SSH options is port, and then you put an equal sign in the number. But there is a key copier. I want to say it's like ssh-copy-id. And then this also, I think, matters. What word do these things go in? So I'm going to put the file I want to copy over, which on the server you want the public one. So I'll put the public up there. And then you have to put the port first, although it's -P. And this server runs on that. And then I'm going to use the username ribbit at 192.168.1.47. And then this is the password for ribbit on that server. And that's done. And then right here, it even shows you like how to SSH in there. I'm going to clear that, Control L, LS. And there's a config file. And this config file just will let me type whatever I want. So that server's named BSDbox, so I can make it to where I can type BSDbox, let's say, and it'll just SSH using ribbit. There's stuff in that file already. I've hid some stuff right here. Like this is the old ribbitface.com server I had for a while. There's stuff hidden here, so I don't necessarily want to show that file. So to get around that, I'm going to use a heredoc. And so I'm going to do it like this. And then the file name, just config. This is going to concatenate whatever I type until I type EOF into this config file. And these quotes around EOF make it to where none of the shell expansion is going to be affected. I'm not going to type anything that's going to get it expanded, but like if you set echo $0 or shell or something, that will expand out to ZSH because that's what I'm in. And I don't want any of that stuff to happen, even though I'm not going to type that. This is just a way to show that, I guess, because by default, it will expand. So might as well do a non-default while I'm doing a video. And then I'm putting a blank line because that config file already has entries in it, and I want to separate the last entry in there from this one. So we'll put host. This is what I want to type. So the name of that server is BeastieBox, but when I SSH, I might not want to type BeastieBox out. So I'm just going to put bbox here, and that stands for BeastieBox, let's say. And then I'm going to indent this just so it's obvious what lines go to which host. We'll put a host name, and then I'm just going to use the IP address. You could put whatever you want in there. .1, and we're going to put .47, and then indent this again. And then I'm going to put identities only. I just have a hard time spelling this correctly for some reason. Kind of like the GLFW the other day. Identities only. And this one comes with the equal sign. And then that line has to do with this line. So let me put this in here first. Identity file. And then here's the location. So it's home ribbit.ssh. And then ribbitkey.pub, which is this guy right here that we just created. Oh, sorry, it's not the pub file. This is the private one. And then the user, which is ribbit, and the port, which is 10.0.0.3.4. And I almost didn't explain this. So this identities, make sure I spelled that correctly, only means only use this file right here. So this is to tell it which file to use, and this is telling it only try this file. So don't try any other files that are inside here. So like there's one right here and right here. It could try to find the correct one, but this is saying, this is the one I want to use, don't try any others. If that's not right, then you're not going to work, basically. And then I'm going to put an EOF to end this. All right. So now, theoretically, I should be able to just say SSH bbox. And now it's asking for that passphrase I put in. And then now I'm inside there. So I'll open up tmux on the server. I just use, this green's the default color. So on a local machine, I usually just use this green. This server in particular is red, then I'll have blue and different colors for different servers, basically. Just so I always know which server I am. Whenever I have multiple servers up, then also if you notice, you can't really see what I'm typing. So I'll type prompt Adam3, and then now you can see what I'm typing. That just has to do with me using Solarized. Like, was there anything in here I didn't want? No, it doesn't matter. Okay. Because I'm using Solarized, that happens. So maybe in another video, I'll show how to fix that. Which, that prompt 3 is one I made to fix the colors of Atom 2, I want to say. I pretty much, the only other thing I guess I could have done while I'm thinking about it is, if I just hit, so if I hit Control BC, it's going to open up a new window locally. If I hit Control BL, it goes back. If I want to do that on the server, I hit Control B, Control BC, and then Control B, Control BL will toggle between those two. So one Control B is for the green, 2 Control Bs is for the red. So I'll say Control BL to go back locally and cd.ssh. And then just before I did that, I probably should check, or could have checked, TL-6, the config. for those files that these lines that we just put in here, just to make sure they were correct and looked right. So that's now appended to the end of this file. Ribbit.